Yo, what's up, family? What's up, family? We right back. It's your host that rolled the most, Steve O Stoner, aka Stoner Trap CEO.
Boy, I'ma need you to send this to
To it, you dig? So, what we have going on is 21 Savage
Hey man, what's good?
apparently made some type of statement saying "fuck the streets." I don't know if this is supposed to be a movement, organization, or whatnot, or just a general blanketed statement. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna dive into it and see what's to it. You dig?
We gotta talk about 21 Savage officially starting what might be one of the strangest movements in hip hop right now. Because the internet is going crazy after 21 Savage said, F the streets. The streets ain't give us nothing but trauma. Now when 21 Savage say something like that, oh yeah, it ain't just a tweet. This is a movement. Now let me give y'all the context because some of y'all just reacting without thinking. 21 Savage goes online and basically speaks on the whole Young Thug and Gunna situation. The street code, the loyalty politics, all of that. And 21 comes out like, yo, the streets ain't do nothing for us. No money, no protection, no peace, just jail, funerals, and PTSD. When was the last time the streets paid anybody's lawyer fees? Now listen, this ain't just some random rapper talking. This is 21 Savage. Atlanta roots, real background, lived it, survived it, and now he's saying out loud what a lot of rappers whisper.
But is 21 all of that? I get what you're saying. I hear it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, 21 Savage not from here. You know what I'm saying? He's relatively young, so half of his life was lived here, but majority of his life was lived in like the UK or some shit. You get what I'm saying? He adopted the culture of the streets, if you will, as trying to be a black person here in this diaspora. But
Behind closed doors. Because let's keep it a buck. The streets be like, stay solid, don't tell, don't fold. But when you in that cell, ain't nobody solid, ain't nobody paying bail, ain't nobody calling your mom. And once 21 Savage said it, oh yeah, the internet ran with it. Now everybody's posting. It's
so that's G Herbo, YFN Lucci, and Young Thug saying the same thing. I mean, and people gonna have their different sentiments about this, and for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's saying that any of these people are wrong.
been F the streets. The streets is a scam. The streets don't love you back. TikTokers, rappers, fans, even some OGs who used to preach the street code like it was the Bible. Now they switching up. A lot of rappers all of a sudden came out of nowhere and said the same thing. G Herbo posted to his Instagram, F the streets. Young Thug posted to the Instagram, F the streets. YFN Lucci posted to his Instagram, F the streets. Even Pooh Shiesty said, F the streets. He is traumatized. Meek Mill chimed in and said he been saying that, but they slaughtered him. Now,
Yeah, that's true. Meek been saying that. Meek had an album called Champions where he went in on the whole thing, and that was like 5-6 years ago, and he was echoing these sentiments before that. But let's see. All right, we got the basis of where the fuck the streets movement came from. Now let's dive into a bit of the psychology of the whole thing. That's why I like to tap in with my brother Tariq. Hold up.
Oh, how y'all doing, family? Y'all good? Y'all good? Y'all great? How y'all living? Everybody good? Everybody great? I'm here. I was doing my YouTube live earlier, and they were like, "Man, when you coming to X? You gotta do a live. You just neglect us over on X." I'm here. I'm not neglecting you. I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me shout out some of the regulars. You know how I got to get down before I get busy. Panamera, what's up, Panamera?
We're gonna skip through it. Shout out.
Museum this weekend. We had a great event, had a great time, phenomenal conversation.
I would say it's like having another
bad,
producer
Tariq.
in the
We gotta
room that
skip
knows
through it a little
exactly
bit.
what your song needs. This is co-producer, the
You give me a
fastest.
shout out to Anthony.
And y'all share the space, by the way. Everybody share the space. Let everybody know that we are indeed live right now. Y'all share the space. So right now, there's something going on social media where there are some rappers and there's some bloggers and people like that. There's this F the streets narrative. Some of these rappers are like, yeah, F the streets now. There's this F the streets movement. And F, they're saying it with their full chest. What F means, I'm just trying to be um, profound instead of profane.
Yeah, because I feel like Tariq is the perfect person to talk about this. I wanted the aspect of real foundational Black Americans, you know what I'm saying, to really chime in on this, because at the end of the day, the question is, do foundational Black Americans benefit from street business? You get what I'm saying? And street politics at the end of the day, because we are the street culture. Everything from the way that you dress, the way that you talk, the food that you eat, the music you listen to, everything that's surrounded in street culture is foundational Black Americans. We've created that. You get what I'm saying? And everybody takes social cues from us. So it's very important to understand if this benefits us or not while this conversation is being had.
But yeah, this F the streets movement, I won't say it's quite a movement, but it's like, it's a narrative that's kind of spreading now. This F the streets. And 21 Savage was on that F the streets thing. And then he tried to clean it up a little bit. And there's some other bloggers who jumped on it. I'm seeing a lot of this F the street stuff from people with foreign backgrounds. Now, 21 Savage is actually British. Wasn't he born in Britain, guys?
I just said that. I literally just said, 21 Savage not from here. You get what I'm saying? He moved there like 13 or 14 or some shit like that. And he barely scratched 30, so that's half his life. You get what I'm saying? Y'all got to understand the context of where this narrative is coming from. It may resonate with some of y'all that really been through street trauma and everything. And I ain't saying 21 ain't been through shit since he been here. He had to come up in the streets of Atlanta. He got shot like 6 times doing street activity. So, he has his reasons to say it.
If I'm not mistaken, because I remember that whole thing going on with him.
But he ain't
They
from
were
here.
about to deport him at one point. And a lot of people had to get involved to stop him from getting deported over to the UK, from what I understand. Am I right with that? Okay, I'm correct with that. But I'm noticing, family, have y'all noticed many of these people talking that F the street stuff? These are people with foreign backgrounds. Now, that's very interesting. Let's unpack that. Now, why are these people who are in these hip hop spaces, some are rappers, some are bloggers, some are writers, a lot of these people who are foreigners or with foreign backgrounds are talking about F the streets? See, a lot of these people, they've already extracted the value out of the streets because a lot of these people aren't really in it. A lot of these people are not really in the streets like that, but they've monetized Black street trauma. You understand? They rap about what's going on in foundational Black American urban areas. Some of these bloggers, they've used Black neighborhoods as content mines. They got rich and then turn around and say, oh, that life is trash.
Exactly. So you could say a lot of these people benefited and used it and kind of extorted the game. You get what I'm saying? And then kick it to the side and say that this not cool no more. And that's easy to say when you somebody that's not from here. That's the point that Tariq is getting at. You could hop on a plane and you could go back to the UK at any time that you feel. And all of this Black American street facade, that shit will go away. You could be eating tea and you could be drinking tea and eating crumpets. So you don't have to technically deal with the same things that we have to deal with. That's why I said for them other rappers like G Herbo and G Herbo from the Chi, I seen him say fuck the streets too. And, he's really rooted in the streets. He came from a lot of trauma. That man from a hood that got 30 dead homies. So it's like when he say fuck the streets, it may hit a little bit different than when 21 say it. I think that's where everybody's kind of getting like fucked up about it. Where everybody's getting things misconstrued is because 21 is the messenger. And sometimes people kill the messenger, man. People go shoot the messenger sometimes, bro. You can't help it.
So, yeah, that's like colonial type of behavior.
Has Kyrie texted you back?
I don't want to talk about it.
Make sure y'all get over to stonertrap.com. Check out some of these beanies. We got new merch. You dig? We got new hoodies, new beanies, new t-shirts. And I do some of the live streams and exclusive content over there. So get over there. Rock with me, family. You feel me?
Don't want to talk about it.
You need to talk to somebody.
And really, what's going on, family? You know what it is? This delineation movement, I want to show you how powerful it is, because now, family, when people commit crime, there's a delineation with the crime. Everybody don't get to just dump your crimes on black people no more. So now we've delineated as foundational Black Americans. The media is delineating. And y'all notice the wave now, when the media reports crime, they're reporting people's ethnic background. We're seeing that all across mainstream media. I talked about that the other day, but it's still happening. Whenever some of these people commit crime, they're like, yes, this Haitian immigrant committed a crime. This Jamaican immigrant committed a crime. This Congolese immigrant committed a crime. Yeah, there was something earlier where some Congolese, they were like, yeah, some Congolese people tried to bring some strange bushmeat on the plane. Nigga, did y'all see, y'all look at my timeline. Do y'all see that bushmeat that they tried to bring over here? Nigga, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what kind of animal it is. It looked like a monkey with wings. I don't know what it is. But yeah, they got caught smuggling over some damn bushmeat. It looked, yeah, whatever it, I couldn't even tell you what animal this is. Nigga, this shit had fangs, ears, a tail, and wings. I don't know what this shit is.
Tariq be killing me with the description of what these sellers be bringing over. That should be funny. He call them monkey McNuggets sometimes. That should be having me laughing.
But yeah, when they do stuff like that, it don't fall on us no more. We like, oh, we ain't got nothing to do with them Ebola, bushmeat, suitcase carrying. We ain't got nothing to do with none of that. We don't have nothing to do with it. When these people commit crimes and do all these scams, we ain't got nothing to do with it. Oh, that's Ghanaian, Ugandan, whoever. That's on them. So now that there's a delineation movement, a lot of these people want to wash the crime stigma off themselves because they can't dump it on us no more. So all the crime committed by some of these non-FBAs, it got dumped on us. So they're like, okay, the stigma of the streets is sticking to them now. All right. Now they're on the hot seat. Now they're getting rounded up. Now ICE is tracking them down. Now people are looking into their immigration background. So now, yeah, F the streets.
And people may feel like Tariq has a crazy perspective, but I think it's just a different way of thinking. I believe at the end of the day that he's right, that a lot of these foreigners do come, especially these melanated people that look just like us. You know what I'm saying? They come around and they try to extract everything that we do so they can shine from it. But when there's negative things to it, they run away from it, just like he explained. See, back in the day in the news, before this just recent delineation movement, you would see 3 black men just robbed the store and someone got unalived. But now that the delineation movement is going on, they're looking into who are these black people? Where are they from? Are they from America? And they finding out some of these people not from America. They been knew it, but they would just mesh us all together. That was the point of just being African American, is that anybody can hide behind that generic term. So it's important what he's saying. Is it highlights a lot of things.
Trying to do damage control. So now it's F the streets. These people that made a bunch of money off the damn FBA streets. Let's be very clear. Emulating it, promoting it, and all that, and then dumping the crimes on us. And now you can't do that no more. Now it's F the streets. So hey, let's be real. All this pivoting is not because of conscience. You know, we just stopped letting everybody hide behind Black American identity. You know? So now they're trying to separate themselves from the culture they used to eat off of. Yeah.
if y'all think that these rappers that are not from America but acting like they're part of the black culture are not feeling the ramifications of the delineation movement, you're crazy. I believe that's what's going on with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Why they keep attaching themselves to all these different random beefs and trying to keep shit up and going to the DNC and going to Turning Point USA and picking political sides and taking all of this clout and money is because they need to stay relevant. They've already came in as if they want us, and that shit is, and they see that shit is kind of, everybody is looking around like, yo, these people don't speak for us.
See, now they're trying to do a rebrand. Why you think Nicki Minaj is up here with Turning Points USA?
What I just say.
Why you think she up there kissing the damn ring up there? Yeah, these people are trying to rebrand right now. This delineation, it's making them accountable. You can't dump nothing on us. So now the narrative nationwide is that there's a lot of criminal immigrants out here and they don't like the stigma. That's messing with their immigration status. That's messing with their family's immigration status. That's messing with a lot of things. So now they're trying to signal boost to the dominant society. Yeah, we're different. We're denouncing the streets. F the streets.
And it's crazy because rappers like G Herbo, people like Metro Boomin, and the other people that's agreeing with 21 Savage, they looking at it like we all black, we all from the streets, we all had the same experience. But what Tariq is explaining is that their situation is a little bit different than ours. You get what I'm saying? Foundational Black American means you're rooted here. It means your family has been here for generations, connected to slavery, meaning that you're a direct descendant from slavery on this land. You are connected. You are rooted in a different type of way. See, with these different people, they could pledge allegiance to the places that they are really from. You get what I'm saying? And once they get tired of the black experience here, they can go back to whatever that was. They don't have to stand here with you and me. We have a specific track record of fighting against white supremacy, if you will. We've been here for a very long time. That's what the street culture was born out of, was the fight against white supremacy and oppression. I'm from Chicago, bro. A lot of the street gangs, quote unquote, were organizations that fought against the segregation in Chicago, because when you first got there in the 60s and the 50s, most of the black population, we were subjugated to being in one area of the South Side that was almost like ruins. You get what I'm saying? So when we built that thing up, we had people coming around trying to take that from us. We had police that would come around and beat on brothers and lock brothers up for no particular crime at all, just because this was what was going on. You gotta realize this was Jim Crow era. This was before civil rights took full effect. So all the GD stuff that y'all see, all the BDs, all the Vice Lord, all of those was organizations that fought against white supremacy, both white street gangs and the crooked police that was fucking us over. So when I see something like fuck the streets, I think about what the street culture was born out of. And yeah, it may not be the same right now, but it's a lot of people that are still fighting the good fight on the righteous end of what's going on in the streets, because at the end of the day, we all we got.
This is performative white signaling. They're signaling to the white supremacists. They're signaling to them like, look, we're safe. Don't deport us. Don't deport my family. We don't like crime. And another thing, these people know, because now people are getting very codified right now. And a lot of these people who are non-FBA, truth be told, they could never move freely in foundational Black American street spaces, and they know it. Now now People are getting found out. The rubber is meeting the road. Everybody who's a snitch, everybody who's an op, everybody who's a bitch, all of that is being found out now. See, people can fake the funk on the internet, but now you got people hitting the streets and getting jumped on and all types of shit. Bobby Smurda just went out and got jumped on. I think he got jumped on by some Somalians. I don't know why he got jumped on, but it's you hitting the streets now. You don't know what's gonna happen. You get out here now. It's a dangerous game out here now. But a lot of these people, they can't really move freely in FBA street spaces. A lot of these people never had trust in FBA street spaces to begin with. You understand? A lot of these, listen, when it comes to street shit, people like to know who's who. When you come around, that's why the whole check-in thing was a thing out here in LA. LA really don't play around when it comes to that street shit. You can't be faking the funk at all. When you come around, people are going to be like, hey, whose man is this? Who brought this guy around? Who's his family? You want to know something about this guy. Who'd he check in with? Who is he with? Who can vouch for this guy? A lot of these non-FBA people, don't nobody know them.
Make sure that y'all get over to stonertrap.com. Check out some of that merch and some of that music. Stonertrap.com.
Nobody can vouch for them. You don't know who their families are. So there's going to be suspicion around these guys. And plus, a lot of them are informants. There are a lot of people. They get a lot of non-FBA cats. I ain't saying all of you, but they get a lot of non-FBA cats to be informants. So when you get these people who don't nobody know show up around some street business, people are going to have some suspicions. So these guys know, these bloggers and these rappers, they ain't never really moved in them spaces for real anyway. And now there's cases going on. People getting hit with RICO cases and all types of shit. So people's association with the streets are getting made public. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting real heavy out here. And then when the block gets hot, niggas get to snitching and telling. And yeah, we see that you wasn't really built like that anyway. Excuse me. But understand something about the streets. Let's be very clear. Black American street culture, foundational Black American street culture, it's been simultaneously reviled and admired. It's been globally emulated, while other underground cultures are not viewed the same way. That's another thing. Our street culture, there's always been a balance, and there's always been something about it that has enchanted people, because our street culture is different from other people's underground economies. I want y'all to feel me on this. When you look at like some of the Asian mafia guys, because these other groups, they got criminal underground networks and the whole shebang. We know this. They got criminal networks left and right. They got Asian mafias all over the place. Africa, they got all types of scams and all that.
That's important to highlight too when people talking about street culture, because street culture is kind of like, it's loosely organized, but it's one of those things where it's more family based. You get what I'm saying? It's more survival based. It's about people trying to make it out for real, for real. We don't have, like Tariq just said, we don't have criminal organizations. You won't find a black mob, mafia, cartel. You get what I'm saying? All these other racial categories, they have that. We don't have that. We have people trying to survive an oppressive situation by any means that they can.
That stuff, nobody admires that. There's no admirable thing about that. Whereas in foundational Black American street culture, there's a charm in certain elements of it. Not saying it's all gravy or whatever, but there's a balance.
Mm-hmm.
See, foundational Black American street culture, it emerged publicly. It wasn't, some backroom secret deal shit. We had what was called the sporting life. You had gamblers, hustlers, street figures, going all the way back to the 1800s. And, many of them were visible, but many foundational Black Americans, they got forced into the underground economy for survival because of the laws that were here against us. So there was a need for many people to go into the underground economy to survive, to stack up enough resources to ultimately get out. Where you feel what I'm saying? So there was always somewhat of an honor about that. Not saying it's all good, not saying it's all gravy, but there's a reason why foundational Black American street culture is emulated
There you go.
all over. Hip hop comes from foundational Black American street culture.
Come on.
Hell, even jazz to a certain degree.
Come on.
It kind of built its wings off the street culture, the underground economy. You know, the underground juke joints, and we're selling bootleg liquor and things like that. If you're a foundational Black American, you had relatives who had to sell bootleg liquor. My grandmother and grandfather were one of them on both sides. Some of y'all too. We know our grandmothers and grandfathers had to go out there in the woods, make that moonshine and that whiskey, which was illegal, but they had to do what they had to do to survive.
Like I said, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the land of Al Capone. Al Capone basically made his fortune off of bootlegging, but Al Capone had circuits and networks of Black people in Chicago, black street people, if you will, that he had to connect with in order to make things work throughout the entire city. You get what I'm saying? So what Tariq's saying is very true. We've always had a footprint in the street culture because it was our stepping stone to get up, to make our ways up, and to get out. It was never so peep what he's saying. A brother like 21 Savage, who is not from the land, who is not from the lineage, who doesn't have a grandmother or a grandfather, like bro just explained, that was part of this street culture generations before he was. So they understand what it was before it turned into what it is. You get what I'm saying?
You understand? And excuse me, the foundational Black American street culture, it developed under a form of racial apartheid, not just for the sake of doing something illegal. Slavery, Jim Crow, racial terror, legal exclusions from legitimate markets. So it gave the culture somewhat of a David versus Goliath moral tension. Now, by contrast, like some of the scamming culture from these other groups, it's just predatory without any structural oppressive context. It's predatory. You're just getting over on anybody you can get her over on. You understand?
That's why I like to read breakdowns, because his breakdowns be so cold. He be chopping up so much game. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at the picture as a whole. You can't just look at it at the corner of the picture, at a piece of it, and feel like you know what's going on with the entire thing.
Whereas foundational Black American street culture, you're not trying to get over on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Usually everybody who's in the life are willing participants of it.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, excuse me. So the Black American street culture created archetypes, not just criminals. Black American street cultures, it produced the hustlers, it produced the outlaws, it produced the smooth talkers, it produced the survivors, it produced the tragic heroes. So these figures, they translate easy into music, film, literature. And when you look at some of these scammers and other people and mafia people from other cultures, they're just seen as operators. They're just operating a racket. And many of the foundational Black American street people, there was almost a Robin Hood element to it. And that's the thing that really makes foundational Black American street cats stand out. Many of them would get into things that were illegal, get into an underground economy, but they would turn around and enhance the community while they were trying to get out. This goes all the way back to the 1800s. Robert Church Reed, the man who basically built Memphis, was a foundational Black American brother who was one of the first Black millionaires who basically made Memphis pop off. He made a lot of money with the red light district. They had little brothels and illegal gambling spots, and that's how he made a lot of money. And then he got with Ida B. Wells, and she was like, hey, man, you need to go legit and invest in some of these legitimate businesses. So he funded a lot of stuff going on with our sister, Ida B. Wells, a lot of parks and schools. And I mean, he did a lot of great things for the city of Memphis early on. So if you're in Memphis, you'll probably see that name, Robert Church Reed. You'll see that name around. You understand? We had people like the Jones brothers coming out of Chicago. They were a numbers running operation. The famous Jones brothers.
Do your homework on the Jones brothers. Do your homework on the Jones brothers. Hold on. Let me. Jones brothers. Chicago. Cause they was some black entrepreneurs. I want to run this down for y'all real quick, because the Jones brothers was very, very important, man. Hold on, actually. The Jones brothers in Chicago. Why they got them looking kind of white? Yeah. The Jones brothers in Chicago, Edward, George, and Mac, were legendary black entrepreneurs in the mid-20th century Chicago, building a massive illegal numbers policy empire from their tailor shop, becoming policy kings, funding the first black-owned department store, Ben Franklin, and connecting with celebrities. But their success drew mob attention, leading to kidnappings, violence, and eventually Ed Jones fleeing to Mexico, as detailed in the documentary King of Kings. Now, I need to watch that. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely heard about that documentary, King of Kings.
They were making like $25 million a year running numbers. And some of their enforcers, they had Baby Bell, who was the was a mentor to Iceberg Slim, the real Iceberg Slim. He was actually his mentor. You had another cat who was one of their enforcers, a dude named Teddy Rowe. And Teddy Rowe, these were gangsters. These were black gangsters. And Teddy Rowe they called him Robin Hood. He would go out to the community and give black folks like $50 bills, and they would build schools. The Jones brothers helped fund hospitals out there in Chicago. It was something where they turned back and enhanced the community with that. In fact, Teddy Rowe, the Italian mafia saw how much money the Jones brothers were making, so they tried to go in and do a tax on them. They tried to tax them. So the Jones brothers had to skip town, and they left the business up to Teddy Rowe. The Italian mafia, they tried to kidnap Teddy Rowe, and he ended up shooting and killing a made man. So, his days were numbered, but he was diagnosed with cancer, so he knew he was going to die.
He was like, fucking, I'm ready to bang it out either way. He did not care. Everybody in the city knows about the story of Teddy Rowe. He was rooted in Bronzeville, Southside.
So one day, he knew the mafia was after him. He went out to his front porch, sat on the stoop. He put on his suit, and they came and killed him. And the mafia had to pop their collar to him. They're like, yeah, that Negro, he had balls of steel. But again, we're just talking about street culture and foundation of Black American street culture, how it's different from other people's underground economies.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
You understand? Our street guys, you'll see a lot of our street people who turn around and do something progressive for the community when they get out the game, because the goal is to get out the game. They're not trying to foundational Black Americans don't try to have these crime families. Look, we're going to get in the game and get up out the game. Mm-hmm. That's always been the mindset. You understand? That's why you have a lot of street cats like Eazy-E. You got to understand, Eazy and NWA, that came out of the street culture, created a legacy. And Dr. Dre came from that. And, Dr. Dre has I think there's a library at UCLA with his name on it. So we'll use the street culture to do something progressive. Maya Angelou was in the game, and she did very progressive things with her poetry and her writing.
Maya Angelou out here in the streets is crazy. Did not know Maya Angelou was from the streets. Where's Maya Angelou from? Now I'm curious. Maya Angelou, American poet, singer, memberist. Well, I'm trying to scroll through, my bad, y'all. Civil rights activist. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is accredited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over 50 years. Shout out to Maya Angelou. Yeah. What city is she from? Oh, she's from St. Louis. Born April 4th, 1928. You know what I'm saying? And she passed away in May 28th, 2014. So at the age of 86, she lived a very long life. Shout out to Maya Angelou. Being from the streets of St. Louis, I know she went through a lot. Especially, think of the timeline. She was born in the 1920s, bro. She was born right in the role of the Great Depression. So you know it was tight on. I ain't even gonna lie. You know it was tight on. Just imagine what she was dealing with.
People like Ice-T was a hustler, and Ice-T went out to do phenomenal things. That's who we are. We're just not trying to get over just for the sake of getting over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is why there's no honor in the scam culture. Like when you see like these scammers, like a Nigerian scammer, you never see a Nigerian scammer turn into a Robin Hood. You never see a legitimate, successful former Nigerian scammer.
Nope.
It just stays bottom feeding. It's just always bottom feeding. It's nothing admirable.
For example, you don't have a Jay-Z from the Nigerian culture, somebody who came up out of Brooklyn and then put on for Brooklyn. Now you could say Jay-Z has done a lot of questionable shit to be in the grace of the system, but he definitely put on for his hood. You dig?
About it. And I'm not trying to denigrate them. I'm just using Nigerian scammers as you know, as an example. This can go about Venezuelan scammers. That there's nothing honorable. You don't see somebody getting out of a Venezuelan gang and doing something really progressive. You don't see it.
Nah.
Now, you see us doing it all the time. You see us getting out the streets and then doing phenomenal things. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because we just use that, you know, the streets use that as a means to an end. You're like, we're going to use these avenues to stack it up and do what we need to do and get up out of it. So it's never F the streets. The streets are the streets. You understand? The name of the game is to play by the rules of the streets, if you're going to play by the rules, and navigate it correctly and get out the game and then do something constructive. But learn what you need to learn and get some out the game if you win it. Just don't be out here just bullshitting, because a lot of people think that folks doing dumb rah-rah shit is street business. It is not. If you got some cat out here, you know, just running around doing drive-bys or whatever, that ain't really street business. That's not street business. Stuff like that, street dudes look down upon that.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually
You're not
anymore.
lying,
And it
though.
works? Oh, like he would.
Yeah, what you have are a lot of squares who are emotional and who can't cut it in the streets, and they go out and do some emotional bitch nigga shit and then make the whole hood and make the block hot. These ain't really street dudes, because they weren't built to go out here and get no money. They weren't built to go out here and navigate and think their way through it. You get emotional and try to go out here and get into gunplay, and you just put a whole black eye on the block. That ain't, no. Nobody co-signs that. The street dudes. Nobody hates that rah-rah gunplay shit more than the street dudes, because it shuts down everybody's money. So people just gotta understand what's what out here. All right, let me get some people in here. How many?
All right, we're gonna pop out and see what Boosie talking about, because I seen he was snapping.
This is when the narrative shifted. When this started happening, a lot of people were confused, especially hardcore hip-hop fans. People started saying, oh, now it's F the streets? Y'all made money off the streets. Y'all wasn't saying this before. And listen, they're not wrong. A lot of rappers wasn't feeling this, especially the real street rappers. Boosie took to Twitter and let them have it. He posted a whole 12-page letter and said, if the rappers go say F the streets, y'all need to stop rapping about them. Stop double dipping. Rap about fruits, college courses, and staying out the streets. If you from the streets shaped you to the man you are today. Your mindset, your hustle, your intuition, etc. come from the streets. Your support came from the streets. Yes, I want every kid to make it out the streets. That's what we all want. But I'm not.
That's a fact.
I'm still a one, still a one, still a one. I'm still a one, still the one, still the one. I'm still the one, I'm still the one. Yeah, I'm still the one. Roll this blunt in 2 seconds with no rush. I count this paper, use my thumb before you blink, won't get a cut. I'm still the one, not the two. I thought you knew just where I'm from. Out the south side of the slums, they won't give a nigga crumbs. Still the one, I'm still the one, I'm still the one.